and Deputy Shane Ross.
Thank you, Nicola, and I'd like to also congratulate the three proposers for bringing forward this motion. You know, it just occurred to me that the culture of corruption is so deeply embedded in this country that you could contrast it with other countries which take more extreme measures against corruption. I suspect if some of the offences which we're talking about were committed in China, the offenders would be shot or beheaded or whatever they do in China for people who commit offences of this sort. In Ireland, many of them are greeted as heroes. And, you know, I thought it was the real problem we have is not just the offenders themselves, it's ourselves as a people. It's our attitude to corruption. I was at a dinner some years ago, it was in London, it was overseas, but the guest speaker was Garret Fitzgerald, the former Taoiseach. And afterwards he was asked questions, and particularly about the corruption which was obviously rampant in Ireland at the time and which had reached England. And a rather stuffy Tory at the back of the room put up his hand and said, "How do you tolerate all the corruption of people who are in your own party and in opposite parties?" And he said, the problem is not with the public representatives or the politicians. The problem is with the electorate. And, you know, the capacity that we have as a people for constantly re-electing people who are associated and indeed guilty with corruption is something we are going to have to face ourselves. It is all very well and quite right that we should condemn what has happened. But the old maxim, and they used to say it about a former Taoiseach, Mr. Haughey here, that he may be a crook, but he gets things done. In other words, it doesn't really matter, as long as he does things which do matter on the other side. And our tolerance for corruption is something which we absolutely and totally refuse to face here in this country, and it's something we're going to have to do. You know, it's okay to condemn those who do it. It's okay to try and set up agencies, but we've also got to stop tolerating politicians and others who are obviously corrupt, proven in some cases, proven as corrupt. And you know, we do have a responsibility in this House for that. And I think the way that we have disposed of it in the past is completely and utterly inadequate and very cowardly. The solution, which is not inevitable, but which occurs on nearly every occasion where a massive scandal erupts, is to set up a tribunal. Tribunals are proven as vehicles for escape for corrupt people. They delay the whole situation so far and kick it down the road so far that nothing ever really comes of them. They do expose certain things from time to time, certain activities, certain corrupt activities, but nobody ever pays a price. They actually guarantee impunity. They underline impunity. They guarantee freedom for those who committed corruption. So I don't think we can say that any bill that we're going to introduce next week, and we'll see the terms of it, I doubt if that's going to tackle the serious underlying problem, which is not always what we saw on prime time the other night, awful as it was, but it's in ourselves. And I would think it very doubtful that those who are committing the sort of crimes we saw will ever see the inside of a court. And I'd just like to say one other thing. Have I got a minute left?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay, I won't say
two further
anything else.
speakers.
I'll hand over to John Halligan.